this thing is definitely an interesting device as well. So it has an 8 megapixel sensor on the back and a 1.2 megapixel front facing camera. And I really don't know what Apple's plan here with these cameras are, but I think, if you're somebody who just wants to just do FaceTime calls or Zoom calls or whatever you're going to do on your, iPad, I think it's going to be good in that standpoint. FaceTime calls even, this is going to be a good iPad in that standpoint. But as I mentioned before, and I'll just keep mentioning it, if you're trying to take it up a notch and you're trying to do things like, film YouTube videos on this back camera, you're going to run into some issues. First of all, you can only do 1080p at 30, which I still think is okay, but no 1080p at 60, no 4K at any resolution, and that can definitely cause you some problems in the long run. It's probably going to be okay for now, but that could be a problem to some people. Another thing to keep in mind is that it's a single camera setup. I think this camera is pretty much the same thing as an iPhone 6 camera. So whatever you're going to do on an iPhone 6, if you wouldn't feel comfortable using that camera, which came out in 2014, you are probably not going to be okay, using this specific camera. So keep that in mind. But I think that's still okay for a majority of things you're going to do for this price tag in this camera. The front-facing camera, only 720p video is there too. If you're trying to film a bunch of YouTube videos and those type of content things from your iPad, again, you may be better off just even using your iPhone if you have an iPhone 6s or newer. And honestly, with this 1.2 megapixel front-facing camera, an iPhone 6s has a higher megapixel count. I would recommend using that camera more than this one. But again, you're not buying this iPad because of the camera. You're buying it because it's an iPad that still has a really, newer chipset on it. So I think in terms of the camera standpoint, that pretty much covers it up here. Now,